Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles. I'm back to Sliced Sudoku, which I love the pun of the best thing since Sliced Sudoku, but this is Sliced Sudoku, so just have fun with Sliced Sudoku. So this is our sandwich Sudoku pack. You're already aware of this because this puzzle is going to be a scenic hike because it's a Quattroquadri. And a Quattroquadri, even if it's a fairly easy one, I think is going to drop into the scenic hike simply because people won't be that familiar with it. Yeah, I don't know the I should say I don't remember the difficulty on this one too much. I do remember I tested this one when it was submitted. It must have been 4 months ago or something now. But I don't remember any details of the puzzle. I have solved hundreds of puzzles since then, so I don't remember any of the details. It is possible that something will come back to me. Who knows? So let's have a look at Quartered Sandwich by Timotab. And thank you, Timotab, for contributing to the pack. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, links to this puzzle below, link to the entire pack below. Let's get into the rules. So normal Quattroquadri rules apply, which means we have to place the digits 1 to 9 into every box so that there are no repeated digits in any row or in the box or in any row or column. So while there's only 6 digits that go into each row and column, we are working with all of the digits from 1 to 9, but we cannot have repeated digits in the rows or the columns. Sandwich variant, the numbers outside the grid give the sum of the digits between the highest and the lowest digits in that row or column. So do not know what the highest or lowest digits are. We just know that the sandwich is the sum of the digits between the highest and the lowest. And then extreme crusts, cells containing diamonds can only contain a 1 or a 9. That's all of the rules. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. Now we know these are 1 and 9. So these are the extreme digits in this row. But I can't really color this the same way because this is going to be an extreme digit in this column. It's either going to be the highest or the lowest. Yeah, and the same here. So in this column, the 15 has to go down, doesn't it? Maybe I start here. How do I do 26? 8, 7, 6. Yeah, 26, 8, 7, 6, and 5. These are 5, 6, 7, and 8 because I need to put digits summing to 26 between the 1 and the 9 because these are extreme. And the highest possible digits I can put in, 8, 7, 6, and 5, sum to 26. So these are 5, 6, 7, and 8. But this 15 clue, this is either going to be the highest or the lowest in the column. So if I went up, I'd need at least 2 digits to make 15. So I can't go up, I have to go down. So in this column, this has to be a high or a low digit. So this has to sum to 15. In 2 cells, and the only way to do that is with 7, 8, because the only 2 ways to sum to 15 are with 9, 6 or in 2 cells is with 9, 6 or with 7, 8. Now, if I use 9, 6, one of those digits would be a 9, which would by default be the highest digit in the column. So this has to be 7, 8. Now, these could be 1 and 9, or if this is a 9, this just has to be lower than 6. Well, has to be lower than 8, 7, 6, 5, has to be 4 or lower. So that is possible that this isn't a 1 or a 9. The 10 here also has to go down in 2 cells. So these, no, I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm already broken. No, I'm not. Oh, this is cool. Because while this may be the highest or the lowest in this column, and this may be one of the highest or lowest in this column, and this may be one of the highest and lowest in this column, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the highest or lowest in this row. Because the 10 must go down. Because I can't do 10 in here. So the 10 clue must be, let's do some lines here. So horizontally, we know that this is the filling of a sandwich. Vertically, we know this is the filling of a sandwich, and we know this is the filling of the sandwich, because we can't do this being must be high or low. We can't do a 10 here and then have this as a 3. So this can't go up. It must go down, and this must be the highest or the lowest. Now, if we were to make these extreme, we would need to do 9 in 4 digits, but the minimum they could be, even if we used a 1 and something high, would be 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 14. So one of these is playing with not being the highest or lowest in this row, which is fascinating. Now, this 10 can't be 1, 9 or 3, 7. So it's 2, 8 or 4, 6. Now, if this was 2, 8, this would need to be 1 or 9, because the 2, 8 would be on it. This would be 1 or 9, but that would still give me the ability to have something as high as 4 here, and then I could potentially like go 9, 3 and put them in here. I think that could work. So 22. How do I do 22? I can't do 22 in 3 cells, because the minimum would be 8, 7, 6 in 3, and that sums to 21. So this vertical must be 4 cells. So these are the highest and the lowest in this column. Wow, this is weird. We know 1s and 9s, which must go into each box, will be a highest or lowest. But they don't need to go into every row or column. So what can... Well, hang on, I've got the same issue here with this 22. 22 must be done in 4. Oh, this is going to matter, because these must be the highest and the lowest in this row. So if I made this an 8 and this a 7, these would have to be between the 8 and the 7, and that's not going to work. This must be a higher digit than this, and there must be 4 digits between these. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 doesn't work. This is forced to be a 2, and this is forced to be an 8, and this is forced to be a 1 and a 9 to make this work. Now, if I made this a 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 6, 5 is 11, 4, 3, it doesn't get me there. This has to be an 8, so I've got enough high digits, because if this was a 7, let me put it back. If this is a 7, the maximum digit I can put on this is a 6. 6, 5, 4, 3 does not get me to 22. So this has to be the 8, and that makes this a 7, and I must put a 7 on this line, which must go into one of those two. 7, 6, 5, and 4 is 13 plus 9. This is 7, 6, 5, 4. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 7 can't be in here. Now, 9 between the highest and the lowest. Now, I don't need a 9. Like, I could put 1 9 in here, potentially. But this is definitely a highest or lowest. So it's either those 2 or those 3. Because you can only do 9 in 2 or 3. Because if I tried to do 9 in 1, it would be a 9, and that would by default be the highest in the row. And I can't do 9 in 4 because the minimum would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and I couldn't use the 1 anyway, so it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 14, I think. So it's in 2 or 3. So the highest or the lowest in this row is in one of these 2 cells. But I could put a 9, 1. This is fascinating. But 22... I could put a 9 in either of these. And that gives me a lot of freedom, because once I can put 8 on one of these lines, I get a lot of freedom. Okay. But this is tricky. At least I think it's tricky. So what clues are done now? Let's do some marking. This 10 clue is done. This 26 clue is done. This 22 clue is done. This 15 clue is done. What comes next? There must be a 1 or a 9 in here. I can't put them down here. So there's a 1 or a 9 in here. So the 1s and the 9s are in here because I can't put the 1 or a 9 in here because then this 9 clue would be too short. So there is a 1 or a 9 in here. And I can't go 8, 9, 1. So this can't be part of the highest or lowest. So this must be. This must be the part of the highest or lowest in this row. And it's got to be those 2 digits or those 3 digits. And if this is highest or lowest, it can't be lowest because then the digits I put on the line would have to be between the 7 and the 9. So this has to go 7 down to 1. This is the 9. This is the 1. This is the 9. This now has to, this is what I expected would happen. This, now, the maximum this could be is 4, but it can't be a 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason for that is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, but this has to be lowest in the column. So if this was a 5, I'd need these to be between the, I just run out. This wouldn't be the lowest in the column anymore because I'd need 5 digits higher than it. This must be the lowest digit in the column. But this can't be the lowest digit in this row because if this was the lowest digit in the row, I'd need 4 digits, something to 9. So this can't be a 1. If it was a 2, I could put a 1 in here somewhere. So it's just saying it can't be a 1. In fact, 1 must be in one of those somewhere by Sudoku. Because I have to put a 1 in each box. And 9 is in one of those 2, but I can't put 9 on this line because I need the 22 to be done. This is the 9. This is not the 9. And now this 9 clue is going up. And a 9 must be done in 2 at least, and this is a minimum of 4, 5. This is a 4, this is a 5. They must be minimums. This is beautiful. This now has to be lower, the lowest digit in the column. Now these could, well, hang on. This can't be, this could be 6. So I could go 6, 8, and this could still be anything from 1, 2, 3, but it has to be lower than these digits. There is a 1 in one of those. There's no 4 here anymore. Interesting. I suspect it's got to be a 1 here, but I haven't proven that yet. But I can say that this is the sandwich sum in that column, meaning the 9 clue is done. Yeah, if this was a 1, this would be the lowest, and this sum at the top would have to be a 0. This isn't the 1, this is the 1, this is the lowest. And these are the horizontal that have to sum to 9. Five is in one of those 2 now by Sudoku. Because I have to put 5 in the box. These are 2, 3, 5, and 6. This can't be the lowest digit. These have to sum to 9. They can't be 1, 8. They can't be 2, 7. They're 3, 6, or 4, 5. I'm not sure how to disprove any of that. Well, hang on. I need 2 digits to get to a 9 sum. So the 9 sum is in those 2, which means this is the 1. This is not the 1. And how does this sum to 9? Because this is from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If this is 3, this is 6. So it's either 3, 6, 4, 5. It can't be 5, 4, 6, 3. They're the only possibilities. Because I can't go 2, 7 here because of the way that I can't put a 7 in there. Because of that. So 2 is now down here. If this is a 2, this is a 1, but that just works. This now has to be higher than anything on the line. So this has to be an 8 or a 9, because if it wasn't an 8, this has to be an 8. Because if this wasn't an 8, it'd have to be a 7, and then the maximum I could put on this line again would be 6, 5, 4, 3, and 6, 5, 4, 3 doesn't get me to 22. This is an 8. And these now have to be similar to this, 22. They have to be 7, 6, 5, 4. So there's no 8 here. There's no 3 here. So there's no 6 here. And these are 7, 6. Well, the 5, 6 makes that the 7 and that the 4. There's no 7 in either of those. And the 22 clue is done. So if these are 5, 6, these are 2, 3, and that takes 3, 6 off this, and this is 4, 5, meaning this is 3, this is 6, this is 5, and I can take 5 off those, which becomes 6, 7. This is by definition the lowest, and I have to put 6 between the lowest and the highest. So this must be a 6. If this was a 7, then this would blow the 6 total. So this is the 6, this is the 7. That makes this 8 by Sudoku, and now 8 has to be the highest digit. This is, I might just put a blue circle in there. This is just because I can't put a, can I do a line between? No, I can't. So I'm just going to put a blue circle there. This is the sandwich of that. It's a single cell sandwich. But now in here, I can't put a 9 because if I put a 9 in here, this wouldn't be the highest. So 9 is in one of those two. Now I got to think about the 18 sum. It's got to be in here, doesn't it? This has to be the lowest. Because if I made this 9 2, if I put a 1 or a 2, I can't put a 1 in here, but if I put a 2 in here, then this would be the highest and the lowest, and this would have to be a 0. So the 2 is over here. So this is going to be the lowest in the column. So I need to do 18, but this doesn't sum to 18, it's only 13. So how do I get from here to here? Because this isn't the lowest, and it can't be the highest. So I have to get from here to here. This must be the 9. I must get from here to here with a blue line as 18, but I've already got 13, so that becomes a 5. This triple, 2, 4, 7. There's no 2 there. There's no 4 in either of these. So we've got 7, 2, and 4. This is really, really good. The 2 says this isn't a 2. I suspect now this is going to be the 11 sum because that already sums to 11. 4 looks down making this 5 and 4. I've done my 9, so I can tick off this 9 clue. I've done this 9, I can tick off that 9 clue. The 22 is done, the 18 is done, the 6 is done. The 9 is done, the 15 is done. So it is just the 11 and the 8. Now this is the highest, so this has to be the lowest because I can't do it in this direction because this would have to be the lowest and the sum would be 4. So this has to be the meat of the sandwich and this has to be the other bread. So this has to be the lowest in the row, which means it has to be a 1 or a 2. And now we've got a 1, 2, 3 because it has to be lower than this 3. So this 8 is a yellow circle. And that's going to make the 8 clue done. But this has to be the 11, doesn't it? Because I can't make this 8 or 9. So this is definitely the highest. And if I go in this direction, 2 and 5 doesn't get me there. Yeah, I can't make this higher than 7. So this is not going to be the highest in the row. I can't put anything higher than 7 in the row. This is the highest in the row. 2 and 5 doesn't get me there. This is already the 11. So the sandwich sum is those 3 cells. So this has to be the lowest in the row. But I need to put a 6 in one of these two. So these are 1, 2, 3, and 6 for the box. And I'm doing box logic. I can't do column logic. These are box logic. There's no 3 here. There's no 2 here. But this can't be a 1 because then this would be a 3, but this would be lower and I'd have to include it in the sum. This isn't a 1. Same here. This can't be a 1 because if this was a 1, this would be a 2 and this wouldn't be the lowest in the row. This isn't a 1. 1 is in one of those two. But this has to be the extreme of this. If this was a 1, then I'd have to include the 3. This would be a 3, and I'd have to include the 3 in the sandwich, and this wouldn't be 9, it'd be 12. So this is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 6, this is the 3. 2 and 9 are the highest and lowest, this is an 8. 1 and 7 are the high and lowest, this is 11. 9 and 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 26. 8 and 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 22. 9 and 1 with 9 in between, 1 and 9 with 9 in between. 2, well, the 3 is going to make this 2, but before I do that, the 2 and the 9 with 15 in between, the 1 and the 9 with 9 in between, the 8 and the 1, there's no 9 with 22 in between, the 3 and the 9, the lowest and the highest with 18 in between, lowest is 1, highest is 8 with 6 in between. Lowest is 1, highest is 9 with 10 in between. This is working. So once I make this a 2 by Sudoku and this 3, that's the correct solution. Wow, it's been over 3 months because I tested this, I think it was like the day or the day after this was posted, 108 days ago. So I've solved a lot of puzzles since I tested this. I didn't remember anything about it. But that was very, very cool. Thank you, timotab. This puzzle is really good. Really happy to have this one in the pack, but I do understand why this one has been rated. I think it's a fairly easy scenic hike, but I do understand why this one is rated a scenic hike because it's not using standard constraints in any way, shape or form. So I think it's going to confuse some people and that automatically bumps it up to a scenic hike. The difficulty ratings we use aren't purely by difficulty of puzzle. It's also complexity. So it's difficulty, complexity and comprehension. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes into rating whether something, a walk in the park should not introduce concepts that most solvers have never seen before. And similarly, you know, you would, it's just, that's the way it goes. And this one I think does. Very, very cool though. But I think this is going to be the easiest hike in the pack. Very cool. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're enjoying the pack. And as always, good luck with your solving.